What is up, guys? This is Rahul here, and I am going to walk you through a live sales call breakdown, and I'm going to pause throughout it so you can hear everything, take some notes if you'd like. You're going to find out how I actually go through objections. I try to pre-handle them. I'm going to give you this instance, like somebody on my team had taken a sales call before in a triage, and now they brought me in. I kind of came in blind, so I was learning as I was going at the same time. So you can pretty much look at this almost like a fresh conversation for me. There were some objections that we had to overcome here, and I was looking at two ways of handling them. Number one, what was going to cause fear and uncertainty? Something like, I've already tried something like this before. You guys don't look any different than any other programs out there. I don't know if I can do it. I've tried, I've failed. All of those things that are more on the limiting belief side of things. Now, those ones are a little bit harder to overcome at times unless you proof them with a little bit of stories in front of them. Number two is going to be a logistic thing. So that's like a snapshot in time. Something like, hey, I'm getting paid next week. Can we start next week due to that instance? Or I'm getting married. I need a week to go on the honeymoon. And then I'm back and on a rock and roll. That's going to be a logistic. So you'll see how we kind of go through this. And I'm going to pause throughout the whole entire thing. This is going to be a little bit of a longer one. This is about a 40-minute call. So this video is going to be long. I'll play it. You can watch it in 2x speed, 1.75, whatever is easier for you. Maybe take some notes along the way. And as you have questions, you can feel free to ask us in our group. So I'm going to move to one of the sides of the screen here and shrink myself. And I'm going to share my screen and play this call. And then I'll pause throughout and I'll do some breakdowns here. Okay.
Hey, Tracy.
Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure.
No worries.
Okay, so when we have people on Zoom, that's kind of important because we want to see their face. Otherwise, we'll see a black screen with just a name on it or a picture. That's just a little bit of a trick, if you will. It's not really even a trick. We just say something like, hey, I can hear you, but I can't see you. And then they turn on their screen. To the right of the mute button. You're one button away. So it's right to the right of the mute button, the little video button.
Okay, here we go. There we go. All right.
Yeah. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Awesome.
Cool. So Tracy, I just want to give you a quick introduction about Rahul because I know that we had a conversation last week. Just before you guys have a conversation, I will just give a quick download about what you do to bring Rahul up to speed. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So Tracy has been in the lash business for a long time. Now she's looking to transform her business to more like coaching lash businesses, helping other ladies to start their own business, and while having herself to slowly moving out from working inside the business, it's more like on top of the business. So she's also running a lash business, but right now she's also looking for some help to market her own lash business, having her ladies to do the work instead of her doing the work. And now she's facing some challenges about marketing her coaching business, coaching services in other area. Right now, it's more like on St. Louis, right?
Yes, I'm headquartered in St. Louis.
Yeah, exactly. So that would be something that she's looking for. She understands that there will be an investment at $1,600 per month, and she's looking for someone that we have done that before, helping people to build a coaching business successfully and have more experience than any people that she came across.
Cool. Okay. Well, anything you have to add, Tracy?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's important when your triage person or setter comes on. And if you're doing sales and setting, then you'll just do a summary of the call. And when you do the summary for the next call that you're doing, you're going to just ask a question like I did. Is there anything that I missed? And then they can add to it. So it sets the context and the lay of the land of the sales call.
I think you did a really great job. You actually listened to me because, I mean, you know, it is a female business. I mean, no man is interested in eyelashes. The only thing that I would add is that, you know, I am headquartered in St. Louis, but like right now I'm in Texas. But I go to Denver, I go to Chicago, I go to Phoenix, and I'm trying to reach out to Birmingham and Jackson, Mississippi. And so I'm having some difficulties. I've been lashing for 12 years. I've been training for 6 or coaching for 6. And since COVID, I would say that the industry has probably, I don't know. I mean, for lack of a better word, it is quadrupled. Like, there's so many ladies in this lash game now that just weren't in it, you know, prior to COVID.
Does that open up a bigger market for your coaching business?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. You know, I don't know. I would hope so.
Yeah, because So right there, I just wanted to open her mind that there is an expansion because she just said it out of her mouth and now she's struggling to think if it is. So I just wanted to kind of future pace her so we can talk about how it actually has opened up a bigger market for her so she can seize that opportunity is there. And the one thing she does lack is going to be like the skill to be able to get there the way she's operating her current business.
I mean, if more people, because we've noticed the same thing since COVID, people have understood that, hey, I have a physical location. Like, let's just go in a whole different industry. Let's go with like restaurants, for example. Like
I used to
restaurants.
own a restaurant.
Okay, cool. So like a lot of the guys or not the guys, like the people who own restaurants, like what they've done through COVID is they've now prepared, like saying, hey, I just learned that there's a whole new market. People are going to eat. They still want to eat out. They just can't go physically to a restaurant during the high times of COVID. Now it's a little bit more lax, but they opened up a whole new market from like shipping to also expanding their outside marketplace where they have DoorDashes, they have their own internal delivery systems, and then they had partnerships with other kitchens where they can use fractional kitchen space. So it kind of opened up a whole degree of business. It's almost like the kitchens that and restaurants that innovated and pivoted, that it caused them to actually become quote unquote coaches on teaching other restaurants on how to actually run a more expansive business. So as these guys have come out, I'm in California, they've like tripled, quadrupled their businesses just by having this expansion. So it's kind of like they're quote unquote the coach whisperers or the kitchen whisperers, if you will. And it kind of, I feel like that could be the space that you're opening up right now. Because the one thing we know is like when people start their lash business or they leave the company they're working for, whatever their circumstance may be, it seems like they're going to run and sprint into a business, but they don't know anything outside of servicing the customer. Because like you mentioned, marketing, you have accounting, you have sales, you have operations. There's all these different nuances that people ultimately run into. Where that's where you can come in as that lash expert, especially when you mentioned, like, I want to ask some background questions about like your travel, because you mentioned like you got your home base in St. Louis, Missouri.
So what I like about this and what I don't like is I'm talking a lot and I haven't really allowed her to express anything through my questions. So I did open up that story. There was a reason for it. Luckily, she happened to also own a restaurant. But what I was trying to do is explain to her that with COVID, because she brought it up, that there's a huge opportunity in front of us. And I wanted to kind of tell that through the lens of a story about the restaurants, how they can actually expand. If they say poor me, it's going to be poor me. Nobody likes the victim story, right? But if you embrace the situation, we can actually grow if we get a little bit innovative. So that's kind of why I went into that story a little bit longer, but it kind of went our way.
Like Texas, Denver, Chicago, Phoenix, like are those markets you go to teach people or speak at, or?
Yes.
Okay. And what is it you do in those markets? Like you're speaking on stage or are you coaching?
No, I'm coaching. I'm teaching ladies how to learn how to, I teach them how to do lashes.
Okay.
Because
So
they don't know how to do lashes.
It is, yeah, I helped a friend who's like fantastic with like balloon garlands, which I never ever am.
So right here, I'm going to go into another story. The reason I'm doing it, just so you know, I don't suggest like going into too many stories. The only reason I did it here in this specific instance is that she's a predominantly female related business. I wanted to be able to relate back to her. So I'm going to talk about a friend that we've also helped in her coaching business go from traditional in-person to all digital and just absolutely crushes it. So I'm just using our case studies as stories to relate back to the client.
Million years would have thought that was a huge business. We took her business online because she was spending countless hours going to like Los Angeles, then Oxnard, like which are miles apart. They're like one's 1 hour one direction, one's an hour the next direction. You have to wait there, put it up, tear it down, go home. And we just digitized it and turned it into a coaching space to do like rainbow garlands and full out events and all that kind of stuff and client acquisition. So we just kind of really organized it and launched master classes. And then now we're doing like a whole 1 year mastermind program. So we're going to have a really high ticket, like $30,000 a year thing. But that may be relevant to you, it may not be, because every business is unique based on their audience and who we're trying to attract. So like based on the conversation that you had with Jason, did it seem like what we do could be a match for what you are looking for?
You know, like honestly, I remember speaking to him, but I speak to a lot of folks because I'm looking for something. I don't know exactly what I'm looking for, so I don't remember any specifics about our conversation, but I do know that I did get back on this call, so because I ignore people. So you know, I'm interested, but I you know, I don't want to waste my money because I've wasted money. But you know, forget that. Everybody wastes money. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, the good part about wasting money, and if there is a shining light at the end of the tunnel or a silver lining, is that now you're learning more of what you actually want, right? So we're becoming a more educated buyer. So that's kind of the catch-22 there. So,
It is.
let me just give a
Totally.
quick background, and then we'll dive into what specifically you could need. And if we can help guide you there, we'll cover that in the next like 15, 20 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so I just went into just a test to see if what we do matches what she's looking for, because she did have a previous call that I was not on. Now I got the lay of the land that she doesn't remember, but she does remember having a conversation. So now I'm going to go into a little bit of a background. I'm going to kind of dig into the nuances of business, because she's been in business for about 6 years now, just from the notes that I was taking while I was live on that call. So now I know that she has a lot of pain. There's a lot of hats that she needs to wear. And I want her to know that our bridge is going to get her to that solution. So she's over on the left side, GSD is on the right side, and then we're going to paint that picture to kind of walk that pathway together so we can go hand in hand and work together.
Okay, so just a little background. We run an agency, a marketing agency, pretty successful for the last 18 years. So the reason we've started a coaching business is because we've been through the war wounds. We've wasted a lot of money. We've spent great money. We've hired bad, good coaches, and we've consolidated what we've learned of those 18 years into these like kind of like a precise process. And the operating word is more of a system and a process, just because we can get sales, we can hire people, but if there's not a symbiotic way to kind of create that process so we can be scalable and efficient, then it'll just be a little bit stressful and chaotic, and then chips fall out of place. So we just created that assembly line type of agency and coaching business. So like when we run ads, we can drive traffic in, we have qualifying, we have sales process, so on and so forth. And then we go to delivery, then we go to retention, which is customer support and servicing. And then we do our graduation upsells, right? So the same thing that we teach that we do inside of our business, we inject like everything that we've learned from the millions of dollars we've spent from mentors and all that kind of stuff consolidated down into a coaching program. So we feel we've taken the best of like what the CEO of Sony Home Entertainment taught us, to the Stamps.com guy, to the Tony Robbins, to all the coaches that we constantly invest back into to make our coaching program best for our market. So that's our background. Now, when it comes to you, like what's like the priority? Is it to build this coaching business?
You know, my what I would like to do, so I used to own a franchise, and so I'm kind of I have a bad taste in my mouth about franchises and exactly how at least that franchise was run, and I just assume that most of them are run the same way. But you know, ultimately that's what I want. I would like for ladies to purchase a Lashing Out Loud franchise and, you know, have their own Lashing Out Loud studio.
Okay.
And then they would have to buy, you know, all of the Lashing Out Loud products from me.
Okay. So are you thinking that this could be like, I want to build the coaching business to teach you how to be super successful and build it under the umbrella of you guys learning how to start your own brand of my brand? So it's like so you're basically training people to be more successful, and then they buy your products to make it easier, so they don't have to have a random, and apologize if I say this incorrectly, but I go into like a car wash, you just see a mishmash of product. You're basically saying I have a cool branded product. It's very simple, and there's very specific use cases. You don't have to go anywhere else.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So I mean, me personally, the way I would position the franchise, because that may be a hard sell in the beginning.
Yeah, I don't even like that word.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody likes that word either, because all you think is it's extremely expensive. I'm locked in with you, and I'm screwed if I'm not with you.
Yes, exactly.
You know what I mean? And then I got to pay
yeah.
royalties.
Right.
So if we position it in the coaching business, and part of the benefit is that you get all this access to just done for you products, done for you purchase orders, shipped and delivered on time with one system to kind of run through, then you'd be the coach to be able to get them to X. I help lash companies start and scale from X to Y. So we kind of do a positioning statement like that. We call it like a domino statement, right? A big, broad result that we can do.
Okay.
So what with your current, did you mention you've been running the coaching business for 6 years already?
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you don't mind me asking, like, where are you in the business, like revenue wise or client wise, or both?
Revenue wise, a little over 100K. I think last year was like 110. And then what was your second question?
One thing right there, don't double stack questions, because as you can see, she didn't remember it. Just do individual questions. So that's a critique of myself.
Not even, I think it was 110. It was 110.
Okay, 110 in 2021. And then are you on pace to hit that same number this year?
No, nope.
Okay, are you ahead of it or behind it?
Behind it.
Okay. Now, do you know what's causing you to be behind it?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I am not doing as many students in my classes as I did last year. And I've tried a couple new cities and I got 0.
Okay. Because if the industry's 4x in growth since COVID, we just have to figure out our positioning, right? So
Right.
the market opportunity is there, the students are there, because if we had one person in COVID time, now we have four during COVID, we just have a 400% growth in the market. Now it sounds like it's coming down to either over expansion, number one, which I don't know if that's the answer, but number two is, which I think is the real reason, is the marketing behind it. Is being able to bring people in to your ecosystem and your funnels, or however they're meeting you, on a more consistent basis. Do you think that could be accurate?
I do, because I don't think that there are plenty of women out here that want their own lashes, or at least they think they do.
Yeah, okay. So from what we do is, like, from a coaching consulting standpoint, is like what we do is we have a lot of levels of support. I can go into that later on the deliverable side. But first, like, the one thing we really work on is positioning, like, people's offers. So people want to actually jump out and reach out to be curious when we reach our right audience. Because if we put this offer in front of, like, a mailman, like, obviously they're not going to be interested. But when we have somebody that's your target audience, on how to build that audience, so you have a bigger network of people in the lash space, and we start planting offers and content in our marketing, we help write that copy, we help position the copy, and we help position the offer, so we get more opportunities to talk to more people to bring them in the coaching business. Now, any questions on, like, that part?
No, that makes sense.
Okay, and would that be helpful, is just fixing this part so that we can have our top of funnel constantly full?
Yes. Currently I run Google ads and Facebook ads. My Google ad was doing, it was doing really, 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 really well. Because I did realize how important Google is. I mean, one of the questions that I ask the ladies when they do come to class, I say, how did you find me? And I tell them to be very specific. Don't just say Google. I'm like, I want to know what you typed in Google to find me. And so I would say 70 to 80% go to Google. And then 20% is referrals. And there might be, one or two from Instagram or Facebook.
Now, really quick, right there, what you mentioned, like, from Google, referrals, Facebook's, the predominant way a new audience is reaching is Google ads.
Yes.
Now, how much are you spending right now on ads?
About 2,000 or 15, about $1,500 a month.
Okay, $1,500 a month. Now, quick clarifying question behind that. When someone clicks the ad and are they filling in a landing page to get you to book an appointment, or?
No.
Okay, so when I click, if I clicked your Google ad, where would I go?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't know.
Okay.
But I know that there isn't a sheet that they're filling out.
Okay. So
I think that it sends them to my website.
Okay, because that's because it has to go somewhere. So
right. I think it's to my website.
Okay.
So right here, you can tell that she has no idea what's going on. And I'm going to just use this to clarify things, because she's spending a lot of money. She has no clue. Like, she has a business, it's going to a landing page, it's not going to a landing page. And then you'll find out it's going to a newsletter. So we're going to kind of use that information, as well as that 4X that I brought up before. The market's grown up by 400%. And why she's actually declined. So you'll see how that goes here. And this is going to end a couple objections that you're going to see that we're going to go through. There's still about 20 more minutes to go on this call, so stick with me. And let me know what notes you've learned from this and what could be helpful when you guys get on your calls as well.
Okay, now let's just say it's going to your website. Could they be filling something in, or do they have to pick up the phone, or how would they get to you once they get from the ad?
I honestly don't know.
Okay, so that's something that I think, if you don't know these answers, we can help you fix. So you can give me an answer like, I have $1,500 I'm spending on Google. I'm getting approximately 100 clicks per month. And I'm getting 7 leads coming in. And of those 7, 3 have signed up. So we want to clean that up a little bit, so you have precision, and best of all, on your cell phone. Does that make sense?
Totally.
Okay, good. Because, like, I know
well, my thought is, why in the fuck hasn't somebody else told me this? Like, I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah, and I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to just impress upon you that we can help you with all of this shit, if you will. This pot of stuff will unconfuse it and turn it into like a nice meal, right? So we're taking spaghetti and just making it a beautiful meal, right? Because it is going to be confusing. The good part is because of our agency experience, we're not coaches, we're agency owners that know sales, marketing, operations, hiring, firing, and scaling. Now we're wrapping that into a precise learning mechanism. Best of all, the conversation we're having right now, these are the conversations we'll have through the whole experience of working with us. We're not going to be like, we're not speaking on stage like a professor. We're not going to be Tony Robbins talking at UPW. We're going to be talking on Zoom. So you can say, hey, I'm confused on where my money's going on my ad spend. Can you help me get clear on it? You ask that question to us, we give you those exact answers. We actually fix it if there's something to be fixing, so we can actually get this $1,500 to even go further for you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now, do you have a CRM? And that stands for Customer Relationship Management System. So basically, a database. Like if I said, hey, Tracy, you've got 100 leads in the last 6 years. Where are those leads right now?
So I do have that.
Okay, good.
It is constant contact.
Okay, beautiful. I'm glad we have something. And do you like the way you're using constant contact right now?
Yes.
Okay. And what do you use?
Because I was using something else and I can't think of it, but yeah, constant contact is working.
Okay. Okay. No, one question I want to ask you is about the sales process. So a lead comes in. What should, if I filled in your form, what do I expect? Are you going to call me? Are you going to email me? What's the next step?
You know, there is a form. I don't know. I mean, I know that you'll get in a list and then you'll get a newsletter twice a month.
Okay.
But
how does the sale occur? Let me ask that question first, and I'll wrap back to this one because I do want to clarify some things here. But like, are you selling on the phone, or how are the people buying from you?
yes, okay. It's on the phone.
Okay, by phone. Okay. Now, of those people that are maybe getting a newsletter, maybe not, we'll look and see ultimately at the end of the day to clean this whole system up, because everything we're going to be talking about is going to be like, let's systematize the sales. Let's kind of bite the frog. And that analogy just simply means let's do the stuff we needed to do 5 years ago today, so we can maximize every single person that comes through. So what's the value of a customer to you? Like how much would they pay you?
So tomorrow I have a private class and it's $999.
Okay, $999. And how long do they get access to you? Is it just one class and then they?
It's just one class. I mean,
Okay.
they have access to me, you know, if they call, but they never call.
Okay, oh, that's a great model. Okay, so you can this is really scalable.
Well, no, that's a private class. So then when I travel,
that's one-on-one you said. Okay.
yes. So
Okay,
when
got
I
it.
travel,
Oh, we have the same thing. Like we charge $1,000 for a one-on-one hour. And then if somebody has feedback support, they have 30 days to give us a buzz and fix anything or get clarification. We do the same exact thing. And then people typically just jump into the program. So we can go over an ascension model, how that works.
Okay, so when I travel, it's $899.
Okay. And that's
And
great.
then
Travel is
yes,
great.
yes.
Okay, good.
Really quickly, I just wanted to throw out there, like I just offered the downsell just in case I didn't know where this call was going, just because I can tell in her background, it's super chaotic. She's out of her hometown, out of her element. So I just subtly threw that in there just so I can use that towards the end if I needed it.
And then for my home base, St. Louis, it's $699.
Okay, travel $699. I'm sorry, travel $899, home base $699. Got it. Okay. I like your process. I mean, I love the prices. This is a business that can easily do $250,000 like in another year, and then get a team around it, and we can easily go even higher and higher. When I say $250,000, I mean sometimes that can happen in 6 months. It just depends on how fast we adapt, right? But the reality is that we can double and half the business. That would be my first goal, only if you're okay with that goal.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
I don't mean to be please forgive me, but I don't mean to be a pussy, but like I have the building that I've been in for the last 3.5 years, it just got bought out. And so we've been put out. And so I'm a little distracted because we've been put out of our building, and I've made a home there at that building. I've, redesigned it, repainted it, put new floors in, and I'm being put out, but we're all being put out. So it's not just me, it's everybody.
Right.
And so I am slightly distracted because I have got to find me some new space ASAP. And I'm in Texas, but I'm flying home today, and I'm supposed to be meeting with someone tomorrow to look at some space. But until I get into my new space, I can tell you I'm not going to move forward with anything because I can't get focused on anything.
Okay, so we just heard she's not moving forward with anything. This is all logistical. So she's distracted, she's confused, she's not even home, she's getting put out of her own office. So those are kind of the objections that we're dealing with. The good news is she's a business owner, she's been around the block, so I kind of went for that personality type. just so I can help walk her through her own mind to get her past her own objections so she can get exactly what she wants, the help that she's been looking for. And based around the conversation thus far, she can't answer the questions about the budget she spends. It's too broad. 1,500 to 2,000. Oh, I think it's 1,500. What happens when someone clicks? I don't know. Well, it's supposed to go here. I wish somebody told me this stuff before. So now I'm getting down to past like any kind of like fears. Now I'm just moving into like the logisticals. The conversation's flowing fairly well. And I'm going to continue to play here.
Thing major until I get into my spot. But
okay, got it. No, then that makes sense. Now, here's a thought process for you. Like, do you have employees working for you?
I've got one, not employees. She is a lash stylist and she works in my studio, and it's a 60-40 split.
Okay.
But she took my class about a year ago, maybe like 9 months ago. And she reached out to me about 60 days ago and asked if she could come work in the studio. And I said, yeah, sure.
Got it. Okay. Okay. And then how long were you in that office space for? Like, was it a long time or like 6 months?
3.5 years.
Oh, 3.5 years. Okay. So it was a little bit of home for you. Now,
Yes.
I was in an office space for 15 years.
Mhm.
And I had like pretty much like almost like what I thought a lifetime lease. We were put out too. So what I ended up doing is saying, hey, and I did the exact same thing. I made them pay for it. I didn't pay for it myself, but we had the whole agency buy blue colors, black floors, plus shit. Like people walked in, you're like, oh fuck, this is a legit operation.
Right.
So what we did is we took that opportunity to say, hey, we'll find a new spot. Everybody just works from home. Like work from home. We had our channels dialed in. The benefit that we have is now we have global talent, right? So like if I had to keep my same place in Los Angeles, California, Jason, who lives in Canada, couldn't work for me, but I want Jason to work for me. So I just opened up a whole new opportunity, just like when you mentioned COVID opened up a whole new opportunity. That might be some food for thought from two things. Number one, you don't have to waste revenue on rent. You can leverage the rent you already have or mortgage by an initial home office. And then you can go to a work spot, you can go to a permanent space, a shared space, whatever. But the reality is you can be as virtual as you are considering you're traveling so much. You don't have to grow like what I used to call, or my friends made fun of me. They said, you're like a tree with roots growing in that office. You won't leave. But once I got free, I made more money. I'm like, oh, this is a whole different perspective. So I just wanted to share that story with you. That's my story, that I like it way freaking better. And I'm in the comfort of my own home. And I have a separate room for the office on a container of space. And if that helps, awesome. I just don't want you to feel stressed after this call, thinking like the holy grail to running a business is paying a landlord rent in commercial space.
No,
right?
I know, because for 3 years, I didn't have a space. But in order to grow the business, I needed the space.
Yeah,
I was running it out of the house. I was running it out of the house, and I was mobile and all kind of stuff, but I needed the space so that I could get a little more organized. But I feel you. I think, believe you me, if I could run this business out of the house, I would. But I live with my mom. She's 78.
Right.
Can't have it.
I got you. I feel you.
No, I've got lash shit everywhere. I've got lash shit all in her living room and basement.
Gotcha.
So no, can't do it.
Can't do it at home. Okay, maybe it'll work.
Not anymore.
Yeah. So outside of that, like let's just make sure that what we can do will be beneficial to you. And then once you feel settled in, especially since you're going to be traveling, there's going to be, I guess you don't have much of a time zone change, but it's still going to be a flight. It could be 4 or 6 hours or so before you get settled back at home once you're landed. Like based on like what we've covered, like, because do you think like, does it make sense for you like to work with us?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Like
yeah, everything that you've said sounds really good, and it's something that I need. And I'm ready for my business to grow. I think I have personally just grown it as much as I know how.
Yeah.
And I do have a couple mentors, and they've helped me a lot. I've had some great numbers.
Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, every level has a new guiding star, if you will, right? Because like we're all going down a path, and like we have a flashlight, and the further we go, the longer that tunnel goes for us. That light keeps continuing. So I agree with you on having like everybody around you, surrounding yourself around a community. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the real secret is this. If I can just be very direct and blunt, you want to learn a skill, pay somebody. It's the fastest path to success. I flew to Florida. I flew to like Tony Robbins, #1 salesperson in the history of the whole 43-year-old organization. I flew all the way to Florida for 2 freaking weeks for 2 days only. And then I negotiated.
This is a little bit of an unnecessary story. So I kind of went into it a little bit longer than I should have. But I just kind of wanted to build up like the value of having mentors on your side here.
Did a deal with him where he can do some one-on-one time with us before I left. He couldn't do it for another week. So I stayed 2 weeks. So just as the investment, it was supposed to be like a 3,000 round trip. This was like 15 grand staying everywhere and hanging out with him. And we ended up saying, all right, we only had a little bit of time with them. That was so worth it because now we have so much knowledge to share, even at 18 years into a business. That's the beautiful part. But let me ask you this, like when as far as like we have a logistic thing, and I want to make sure that's the only thing. If there's anything else, I want to answer that here. Just so we can pick up on the next call. But like the circumstances, you want to get this thing up and going and get help. But after you get a home base, am I hearing that right? Or is there something else?
What do you mean?
Like, if I said, hey, let's get started today, and you were going to say, no, I need to get settled for an office. Is that like the one thing that's like kind of in our way is a home base, or could it get started before? Okay.
No, that is, yeah.
Okay. Outside of that, like, is there anything else that is crossing your mind or uncertain? Because I just want to make sure that you feel good, because I feel good. I'm confident that we're going to build an army for you. Once we put in that hard work, we give you the systems and get to, like, when the next time, like once we start, I want to know the answers. Like, hey, Tracy, we spent $1,500. I want you to smile at me, be like, I know my numbers, because then we know how to make money. You know what I mean?
That's what I want to.
Yeah, because it sounds like you've spent thousands of dollars to marketing people. Like, what have you spent?
I don't know. I mean, I spend between 15 and 2,000 a month every month.
Like, have you hired a firm before, like a marketing?
Oh yeah, I did. I did.
Okay. It sounds like they didn't actually coach you through like being able to run and fish for yourself without spending any time on it, right?
Right.
Okay. That's a big gap, and I see that in the market. I mean, there's just so many marketing people out there, right? Quality differs. Okay, so then I guess, like, what do you think your timing is about getting a lease?
So, I'm gonna go look at this spot tomorrow.
Real quick, I want to do a pause. So now I'm just going to be focusing on the lease right now, because that's the only thing interfering in our way. So I just wanted to do a break because we're pretty deep in the conversation right now and we're coming to a close of our call. So I wanted to make sure, like, what is it, just the logistic? That's why I asked the very direct question, just so I can get a lay of the land. Are we matching what you're looking for? Can we get where you want to go? So in her own mind, so she gave me the answers that it's yes. And the only thing I allowed her to kind of utilize was just the logistic of the office space. So, I mean, it's a unique thing in sales. I haven't used that one before, because it's not often you run into people who are out of town and don't have an office, and they're getting pushed out while they're gone and have to run home to get one. So the method of understanding logistics versus fear is going to always be the same on every objection, which we'll cover in later videos.
I think is going to work out. So I would say, I mean, I told the guy that owns the company, the co-working space that I work in now, that I was going to stay till the end, till June 30th. But if I can get this space tomorrow, I won't stay. So I don't know. I would say at the end of June, 1st of July.
Okay, that's like the longest because you have the lease, obviously. But if you like tomorrow,
well, it's a co-working space, and we're like month to month. So
okay. So the one that you're looking at tomorrow is co-working?
Both.
Oh, okay. So that could be a simple transition. I like co-working spaces. Okay.
Me too.
Okay. So then would this be crazy? Like if we got you to join into the GSD, into our group, and then we got
Facebook
all the
group?
Yeah, like what we'll do is like
I joined it today.
Well, you're inside of our free group, right? So we go content and all that. I'm talking about, we have our inner circle group where we work with you closely to build this business. There's a couple things. Number one, like I'll go over the deliverables in a minute, but what I want to get at is we could set up like a contract and start it once you're ready. I want to make sure you're comfortable, because if it's like, there's like, we would get your credit card, we fill it in, we just hold it for you, and then we start a date. So we go, okay, Tracy's back on June 7th, let's call on June 9th, and then start the process. Or we wait till the 15th. Well, no, I'm talking about if you get the new space tomorrow, right?
What is the date today?
Today's June 6th. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, June 6th, Monday. So yeah, if you're going to be taking that space, obviously the faster you get the space, the more peace of mind you'll have for yourself, because
I will.
Yeah, because then we can just literally like get to work. Now, would you prefer this, just from a personal question? Like you're traveling a lot. Would you rather be able to?
I travel monthly, just once a month.
Okay, cool. Would you prefer to do like this from home, so people come to a Zoom for you, or do you enjoy, like, do you prefer, like, if you could choose, I can make more sales from Zoom, or I can make more sales from, or the same amount of sales traveling to Texas? Like, out of those two, which one would you prefer?
The traveling. I love
the traveling. Okay, so you like to be in front of people. That sounds good. Okay, just wanted to do a check there. Okay, so as
Yeah,
far
okay, so, all right,
as the
so
next steps, do you want to set it up so it's like time-based so we can like call you for billing on the next call, or do you want to fill out the paperwork and hold your spot? Which one works for you?
when you say fill it out, what do you mean?
Oh, we just have like, it's just a credit card sheet, like getting your credit card information and all that good stuff to join our GSD.
Yeah, so you're gonna take my credit card information and fill it
Yeah,
out, right?
like, yeah, if I took it over the phone, it would just hold it for you for the date you're ready. That's all.
Yeah, okay, we can do that.
Okay, cool. All right, let me get the billing information from you real quick.
Okay, so this is where we're going to transition to the close. So I'm just going to kind of fast forward and pause for a second in case there's any credit card information on here. Okay, now we're back. We've already got the billing information, and now we're just setting up the next steps of like our onboarding process.
Is there like what time?
Wednesday, let me see. Let me just pull up my calendar while you pull up yours. We can do some matching here. So Wednesday is, what the heck? It is on my last week's dates. Okay. Wednesday is the 8th. St. Louis, is that Central?
Central.
Okay, so how about 11 Central?
Okay, that's good.
Okay, I'll book that for 11 Central. Okay. Now, what email would you like me to send this receipt to for the 1600?
So I would prefer it to go to Lashing Out Loud Class, and it's just like it sounds. Lashing Out Loud Class at Gmail.
Okay, at Gmail. Okay, so I'll have Jason send it to that email, and then on Wednesday, what we'll end up doing, I'll walk you through everything because it'll just be a lot easier, and then I'll document the process so it's very clear for everybody. So because I know you're about to travel and jump on a plane, I don't want to overwhelm you with stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be like, what the heck just happened? I'd rather just break this up into 2 calls because now now we're family.
Yeah.
Awesome. Can we do a virtual high five and say welcome to the GSD?
Sure.
Welcome to the GSD, Tracy.
All right, thank you so much.
Okay, so there you have it. There's a sales call. It was $1,600 per month for that particular offer that we were giving to her. And now we brought her in. So if you guys have any notes, any questions, please go ahead and just jot them down, drop them in our group or DM us. We'll be happy to help you walk you through that process.